ladies and gentlemen, we request your gracious attention as we begin today's event. On behalf of IIM Calcutta, I extend a warm and respectful welcome to everyone to this August ceremony, the conferment of the Honorary Doctorate degree upon Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India. To commence this solemn occasion, may I request our esteemed dignitaries to kindly come forward for the traditional lamplighting ceremony on stage. Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, distinguished guest of the day. Shri Krishna Kulkarni, Chairperson, Board of Governors, IIM Calcutta. Professor Alok Kumar Rai, Director, IIM Calcutta. Professor Sumant Basu, Dean, Development and External Relations, and Professor Bhaskar Chakravarti, Dean, Academic Programs, to come up on the dais for the lamplighting ceremony. Thank you, dignitaries. You are kindly requested to take your respective seats on the dais. May I now request Dean, Development and External Relations, IIM Calcutta, Professor Sumant Basu, to kindly brief us about the day's program.
Respected Dr. S. Jaishankar, Minister of External Affairs, Sri Krishna Kulkarni, Chairperson, Board of Governors, Professor Alok Kumar Rai, Director of IIM Calcutta, distinguished member of the boards, deans, faculty members, staff, alumni, students, and our honored guests, those present with us here in the auditorium, and those joining us virtually. It is my honor and privilege to brief you about the Honorary Doctorate ceremony. IIM Calcutta, the first management institute established by the Government of India, has for more than 6 decades served as a pioneer in management education. In an ever-evolving global business landscape, the institute has continued to adapt, innovate, and lead with purpose. Our mission to nurture principled, forward-looking, and globally responsible leaders, and our vision to shape management through thought and practice remain the cornerstones of our identity and our contribution to the nation. The Honorary Doctorate presents one of the highest distinctions conferred by IIM Calcutta. This program is a reflection of our belief that leadership and excellence must not only be cultivated within classroom, but also celebrated in individuals whose work strengthens society and inspire future generations. The honor acknowledges exceptional accomplishments that align with the Institute's ethos, accomplishments rooted in intellectual depth, ethical convention, and meaningful impact. This year's Honorary Doctorate underscores these very ideals. Through this recognition, IIM Calcutta reaffirms its commitment to honoring those whose contributions reflect thoughtful engagement with complex global realities, informed decision-making, and a dedication to advancing the nation's standing in an interconnected world. The program serves as a bridge between academia and public life, reinforcing our long-standing legacy of promoting knowledge, fostering societal development, and contributing to national and international progress. By conferring this honor, the Institute not only acknowledges excellence, but also strengthens its mission to inspire its students to pursue leadership with wisdom, responsibility, and purpose. The Honorary Doctorate program stands as a testament to IIM Calcutta's commitment to celebrating individuals whose journeys encourage us to push boundaries, embrace challenges, and lead with conviction. As we mark this significant occasion, we renew our resolve to uphold the values that have guided this institution for more than 60 years: excellence, ethics, innovation, and societal impact. Through this recognition, we continue to build a legacy that inspires generations to come. Thank you, and Jai Hind.
Thank you, Professor Basu, for the informative overview of today's program. May I now request our respected director, IIM Calcutta, Professor Alok Kumar Rai, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Pradeepta. A very good afternoon to all of you. The very distinguished guest of today's function, Shri Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, Mr. S.K. Kulkarni, Chairperson, Board of Governors, IIM Calcutta, members of BOG, distinguished alumni, deans and chairpersons of IIM Calcutta, my fellow colleagues, officials from the Institute and Ministry, staff of the Institute, my very dear students of the Institute, members of press and media, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I have the distinct honor to welcome each one of you who have gathered today on the occasion of conferment of Honorary Doctorate to Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, for the services he has rendered towards Bharat Mata. It is through him today that IIM Calcutta shall travel further on its journey of nation building in its own righteous way. Thus, the day holds deep significance in its journey of learning, growth, and transformation. I would like to quote what Mahatma Gandhi once said: "Your beliefs became your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your deeds. Your deeds become your habits. Your habits become your essence, and your essence becomes your destiny." Sri Guru Vashisht told Ram, "Jnanavanena sukhvan, jnanavaneva jivati, jnanavaneva balvan, tasmat jnanamayo bhava." Knowledgeable person is happy. He only lives his life. He is the one who's mighty. Hence, be knowledgeable. So it is extremely important for all the students to be aware of this and try to seek inspiration from today's very distinguished guests we have amongst us. Our guest is a living institution in his own respective field and offers a combination of knowledge, skill, and motive through his personality and also through his works. In Rigveda, it is said, "Ano bhadra kratvo yantu vishvato dabdhaso uparitas udbhidav." Let noble thoughts come to us from all directions. This vision continues to drive us forward, inspiring generations of learners and leaders and towards pursuing excellence. The 10th chapter of Rigveda states that the purpose of education, in addition to knowledge of the Vedas and rituals, is to gain respect in society, be able to speak in public meetings, and understand what is right and what is wrong. During the Upanishad period, the purpose of education became more nuanced. Knowledge was divided into two parts, Paravidya and Aparavidya. Aparavidya encompassed almost all theoretical and practical knowledge, while Brahmavidya was considered Paravidya and Paravidya was considered superior. Swami Vivekananda ji said, the primary purpose of education is to achieve inherent perfection. The greatness of a country is not determined solely by its parliamentary work, but by the greatness of its citizens. But to make its citizens great, their moral and spiritual development is essential. Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore said, education is not something that merely imparts transformation, but rather something that brings us all into harmony with the environment. To this end, the role of education, teachers, and educational institutions become particularly important. When we see the person chosen for conferment of this honor today, we find him to be a true manifestation of all the above learnings that I just talked of. IIM Calcutta, as was shared by Professor Basu, is the first national level institution in the field of management education in the country. The first Triple Crown, few I'll add, the first Triple Crown accredited institute, and the only Indian member of SEMS, which is a global alliance of 33 leading business schools that together offers SEMS Masters in International Management. And our institute is the only institute in the country to have got re-accreditation of all three. I mean, two we have already received and third is in the last leg. And based on the output that we have, we are in receipt of the input that says our performance this time has been like it has never been before. We also have recently been ranked 50th and 64th globally and third in India in QS MIM and MBA 2026 ranking respectively, ranked 41st, yeah, you can clap, ranked 41st globally and third in India in Financial Times MIM 2025 ranking. But at the same time, I also share with honesty that in our NIRF ranking, it has been a challenge, but I assure you that we are working hard and shall soon get the desired result there as well. A distinct departure from deviations incongruent to our roots was developed and implemented on 29th of July 2020 in the form of National Education Policy 2020. Access, equity, quality, affordability, and accountability were the fundamental principles identified for National Education Policy 2020 implementation. Interestingly, these are all the quintessential concepts of Indian knowledge system. Subramaniam Bharati, the very famous Tamil poet, insisted upon access to education for all. Raja Ram Mohan Roy and Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar worked towards proliferation of education among the masses. The world has moved beyond Industry 4.0, Society 4.0, and Education 4.0 in a very short span. Phases of industrialization that started from hunting to agriculture to machines to ICT, information and communication technology, came back to human centricity, resilience, and sustainability. And this is known as Industry 5.0. It added a personal human touch to Industry 4.0 pillars of automation and efficiency. Similarly, Society 5.0 called for a human-centered society that balances economic advancements with the resolution of social problems by a system that highly integrates cyberspace and physical space. a knowledge-intensive society, and a data-driven society. To address this shift in society, Education 5.0 has been developed that focuses on developing 21st century skills, such as critical thinking, creativity, and problem solving, rather than just routine learning. In order to achieve the national, societal, and institutional goals, IIM Calcutta has proposed 5 I's model that talks of integration, inclusion, innovation, industrialization, and most importantly, Indianization. For IIM Calcutta, this is how we are working forward, especially in our pursuits of implementing National Education Policy 2020. And the model we are adopting here is co-creation through collaboration for value augmentation. And this is our new mantra at IIM Calcutta. We at IIM Calcutta are working on being knowledge gateway, especially to serve Eastern India. I have personally reached out to all the relevant authorities from Bihar to Arunachal Pradesh, Sikkim to Chhattisgarh for the purpose, serving the rest of the country in providing talented human resource for the corporate, country, and society at large is high on our agenda at IIM Calcutta. Our success is being reflected in this year's placements too. Procedural simplification, decision-making decentralization, process automation, and system rejuvenation are the key principles that are guiding our decisions at the Institute. When our founders conceived IIM Calcutta, they must have dreamt of creating more than just a business school that blends management education with human values, innovation, and integrity. Today, as we look back on our journey, we can say with humility and pride that we have remained true to that vision. Having said this, it is equally important to recognize the fact that we cannot and we should not be complacent of our historical achievements, but continue to work hard to raise the flag higher. At the end, I again take the opportunity to welcome each and every individual present here with the line from Upanishad that is written in Krishna Yajurved Shaka that says, Om Sahanavautu Sahana Bhunattu Sahviryam Karvavahe Tejasvinavaditamastu Mavidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. O Almighty, may both the teacher and the taught be protected by you. May we both be nourished together. May we both work with greater zeal. May our studies be effective, and may we not argue unnecessarily. May there be peace within me. May there be peace around me, and may there be peace upon me. Thank you once again to each and every individual to be present on this very, very pious and momentous occasion. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
Thank you, sir, for your warm and inspiring welcome address. May I now have the privilege of requesting our respected chairperson, Board of Governors, IIM Calcutta, Shri Krishna Kulkarni, to say a few words in honor of the Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, Dr. S. Jaishankar.
Honorable Dr. S. Jaishankar, Madam Kyoko, Director Professor Alok Kumar Rai, Dean Academic Professor Bhaskar Chakrabarti, Dean External Relations Sumanta Basu, IIM Calcutta family, friends of IIM Calcutta, members of the press, and all those joining online. Namaskar to all of you. Let me start by quoting from an interview done in Bratislava in May of 2023. It goes somewhat like this. You know, somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems Guys, you got to hold it for the man, not, I'm just quoting. So, Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems. If it is you, India, it is yours. If it is me, European countries, it is ours. You know, I had written a line, does anyone recall these words? But it's redundant. All of you know it. Thank you so much for remembering these extremely important lines which made all of us proud. And I'm extremely proud of each one of you that you remembered it. Thank you so much. On a personal level, Dr. Jaishankar and I have known each other since 1996. He was then the Deputy Chief of Mission in the Indian Embassy at Tokyo. I was then a young 33-year-old who was the country head and managing director of the Indian joint venture of Fanuc Limited. His father, Sri Krishnaswamy Subramaniam, who was an IS officer, was the second director of the Institute for Defense Studies and Analysis. My father, Professor Gajanan Kulkarni, who was also an IS officer, and after 20 years of serving in the IS, he was among the first founding faculty members at IIM Ahmedabad. Our fathers were friends. But today it's my privilege to introduce you, Honorable External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar. For close to 300 years, the Anglo-Saxon nations have been dominant voices in global geopolitics. They drafted the rules, they called the shots, and by and large expected the rest of the world to follow their script. Since 2014, another nation has been undergoing a transformation, quietly, patiently, yet strategically profound. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's India has not been asleep. It has been waiting, and it has been learning. India learned to stop playing the game. We stopped pursuing external validation, the desperate chase for approvals from the international institutions. We stopped being a junior partner. India decided to write its own rules and let the results speak for themselves. This unleashed the confidence of 1.4 billion people. Now there is no going back. From 2019, we also see a rise of our nation's diplomacy, one that refuses to bend. Sometimes, all it takes to shift the global mindset is one voice, firm in conviction, clear in values, and unshakable in truth. That is Dr. S. Jaishankar. He's a man of few words, but immense weight. He ensures that India is heard. He has recalibrated our diplomacy. His India never rejects partnerships, it rejects pressure. He challenges the age-old assumption that India can be managed, it can be bullied, it can be softened. It is his quiet resistance that speaks loudest. He is the symbol of a new India that does not fear losing favor, an India that values dignity over deals. This matters more than anyone realizes. He is a leader who's not loud. He does not fight but still wins. He does not raise his voice but raises India's standing. He represents us, you and me, not by flattering others, but by standing for us. You know, all of you, mindsets do matter, not just for politicians and diplomats, but for each one of us. Sooner or later, in your lives too, you will walk into rooms where people will expect you to say yes or to stay silent. And in those moments, your power will not be in how loudly you speak, but it will be in how deeply you stand. And this is what Dr. S. Jaishankar teaches us. And through him, this is what India is teaching every other rising nation. People like him become a beacon for every young professional, every underestimated individual. You do not have to fight to be strong. You just have to know who you are. So the next time you feel pressure to compromise just because you wish to be accepted, remember this. One man, one voice, one stand changed everything, because that's how mindsets shift. Meet the man who stands his ground, Dr. S. Jaishankar, India's Honorable External Affairs Minister. Sharp, strategic, relentless. He's not just a diplomat. When other nations seek concessions, Dr. Jaishankar holds the line and seeks fairness and respect. For him, strategic autonomy is not a buzzword. It is a line in the sand. This is what I call unapologetic diplomacy. Dr. Jaishankar's clarity demonstrates that real power is in dialogue. It flows from within, from a unity of purpose, a depth of culture, and an unwavering belief in our nation's destiny. Because of his strategic wisdom, India can no longer be manipulated and underestimated. And that patience can outlast pressure. And that faith in one's own civilization can build what force cannot. Through him, India speaks its truth, calmly and firmly on every global stage. He is building our strategic sovereignty. This is the mark of a nation that acts on its own will. His style is a lesson in how to achieve deep strategic reorientation and geopolitical correction, not through warfare or hostile politics, but through sheer willpower. He proves to us that it is always about people. People matter. That's his style. He is, I believe, the perfect man to represent our billion heartbeats on the global stage. Dear students, he is very much like all of you that I see sitting here, erudite and the best of this country. We admire you, and we also admire him tremendously. And from today, after the ceremony, he will be a proud alum of IIM Calcutta, the best IIM the best IIM in India. You know, let me share a small personal anecdote over dinner yesterday. He asked me, Krishna, who are your most famous alums? And I actually bit my lip and kept shut. He's one of them. Okay, so it is his voice that is making the world take notice. He brought the world to our doorsteps. Thank you, dear Jaishankar, for coming to Joka and being a part of the family of IIM Calcutta. Ladies and gentlemen, will you do me a favor? Dr. S. Jaishankar, let's give him a standing ovation. Thank you. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for this gracious introduction of our guest of honor today. I now request Professor Abhishek Goel, faculty member, IIM Calcutta, to kindly present the formal citation.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's my honor to read the citation for the conferment of an honorary doctorate on Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. It is with immense pride and profound respect that we recognize and honor to the extraordinary life and contributions of Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar by conferring upon him an honorary doctorate from the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. A statesman, scholar, and one of India's most distinguished diplomats, Dr. Jaishankar has dedicated his life to the service of the nation, shaping Indian foreign policy with vision, clarity, and conviction in a rapidly changing world. Born on January 9, 1955 in New Delhi, into a family of deeply committed to public service, Dr. Jaishankar was influenced early by the example of his father, the eminent strategic affairs expert, Sri K. Subramaniam. His academic journey took him from St. Stephen's College, University of Delhi, to Jawaharlal Nehru University, where he earned his MA, MPhil, and PhD in international relations, specializing in nuclear diplomacy. This intellectual foundation prepared him for a career that would span decades of service at the highest levels of Indian diplomacy. Joining the Indian Foreign Service in 1977, Dr. Jaishankar went on to serve in some of the most important capitals of the world, including Moscow, Washington, D.C., Colombo, Budapest, and Tokyo. He held several distinguished ambassadorial positions to the Czech Republic from 2001 to 4, Singapore 2007 to 9, China 2009 to 13, and the United States 2013 to 15. In each role, he demonstrated exceptional skills in advancing India's national interests, strengthening relationships, and representing the country with dignity and foresight. His pivotal role in the negotiations leading to the India-United States Civil Nuclear Agreement remains one of the defining achievements of his diplomatic career. In 2015, Dr. Jaishankar was appointed Foreign Secretary of India, guiding the country's diplomacy during a period of major geopolitical transformation. In May 2019, he was sworn in as the Minister of External Affairs, becoming the first former Foreign Secretary to hold this office, and today stands as India's second longest serving Foreign Minister after Sri Jawaharlal Nehru. Under his stewardship, India has strengthened its global partnerships, articulated its worldview with strategic clarity, and asserted its rightful place as a leading voice in global governance. For his outstanding service, he was awarded the Padma Shri in 2019. A thinker as much as a practitioner, Dr. Jaishankar has contributed significantly to the intellectual discourse on India's role in the world. His books, The India Way, Strategies for an Uncertain World, and Why Bharat Matters, reflect his deep insights into diplomacy, statecraft, and the responsibilities of a rising India. His writings combine a scholar's depth with a practitioner's pragmatism, offering wisdom that resonates far beyond the field of international relations. In recognition of his exceptional contributions to diplomacy, public service, and scholarship, and for embodying values of leadership, intellectual excellence, and national service that resonate with IIM Calcutta's mission, we are privileged to confer upon Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar the degree of Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa. His life and work are an enduring inspiration, and we are honored to celebrate his remarkable achievements.
Thank you, Professor Goel. May I now have the honor of inviting Honorable Minister of External Affairs, Government of India, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. Honorable Chairperson, Board of Governors, IIM Calcutta, Sri Krishna Kulkarni, and Honorable Director, IIM Calcutta, Professor Alok Kumar Rai, to kindly step forward for the conferment of the Honorary Doctorate degree. Our respected Chairperson, Board of Governors, is now requested to kindly present the ceremonial shawl to the Honorable Minister. Our respected May I now request our director, Professor Alok Kumar Rai, to hand over the citation to Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar. May I now take the privilege to invite our honorable guest of honor, Dr. Subramaniam Jaishankar, to kindly deliver his acceptance address.
Shri Krishna Kulkarni, Chairman, Board of Governors, IIM Calcutta. Professor Alok Kumar Rai, Director. Professor Bhaskar Chakrabarti, Dean Academic Programs. Professor Sumanta Basu, Dean D&ER. Faculty, dear students. It's an enormous privilege to be awarded the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, honoris causa, that too from such a prestigious institution like the Indian Institute of Management, Calcutta. As the first Institute of Management of independent India, IIM Calcutta really has a unique standing. Your Triple Crown accreditations are an attestation of your stature. As for your alumni, and that was a conversation we had yesterday evening, as for your alumni, I readily recall Indra Nui, a friend of many years, TV Narendran, who was my colleague in my brief business career, which was not mentioned in my curriculum vitae with the Tata Group, and Ambassador Ajay Bisaria, who was with me for many years in the Foreign Service. Of course, there are many more who have brought fame to their alma mater. And all of you, I know, will continue to uphold the standards of excellence. Now, my own life has been spent in the study of international relations and the pursuit of diplomacy. This was initially as a student, then for more than 4 decades as a diplomat, briefly, as I said, on the global side of business, and currently as the minister with the responsibility for the conduct of our foreign policy. In the course of this journey, my own understanding of this subject has evolved, and perhaps the sharpest realization is of the intricate connect between national capabilities and external aspirations. This is clearly not rocket science, but the complexity of that linkage and its relationship to policy options is something that is really brought home by experience. It is therefore natural that on an occasion like this, that too at an institution so deeply associated with our economic growth, that this should be the subject of my address. For many decades now, this connect that I have referred to has been conceptually articulated as comprehensive national power. A complex aggregation of multiple dimensions, it is a measure of a country's strength, of its quality of life, and of its ability to shape the world. Some aspects, like military or economic capacities, are more obvious. Others, like natural resources, niche technologies, or cultural impact, perhaps much less so. Occasionally, developing exceptional capabilities provide an added source of power. Now, conversely, allowing crucial vulnerabilities such as neglect of border infrastructure or indifference to industrialization can be a great weakness. Now, it is sometimes said that the best foreign policy is high economic growth. Well, there is much truth to it. Reality is actually much more complicated than that. It is not just about progressing on a broad front, but also paying attention to specifics which have a larger implication. Let me illustrate that. Contemporary debates today about chips, about rare earths, about connectivity illustrate this point. More than that, there is actually the question of fostering an underlying culture which determines a society's attitude, its habits, and its temperament. For all the talk about services, it is only by manufacturing that we can actually really appreciate technology, spread an industrial culture, and encourage innovation. And that is precisely why, in an extremely competitive world, the state of entrepreneurship at home is intrinsically linked to the pursuit of interests abroad. It is central to how we relate to the world and equally a beneficiary of what we draw from it. In that sense, my world and yours are really not that far apart. Let us turn to the global landscape and begin by recognizing the profound changes underway. This is an era where politics increasingly trumps economics, and that's not a pun. Decisions are now being made not merely on costs, but taking into account ownership and security. Where a product is made or who offers a service is as important as their price points. When de-risking overrides the logic of efficiency, the mantra of just in time actually gives place to the caution of just in case. Of course, globalization still exists because it's too far gone to be rolled back. But with powerful counter forces today brought into play, far from being an aberration, these trends have only just started and will probably pick up pace in times to come. Now let's turn our attention to some key elements of this transformation, which actually make for a less rule-bound and a more fragmented world. The United States, long the underwriter of the contemporary system, has set radically new terms of engagement. Not just that, it is doing so by dealing with countries on a one-on-one basis rather than through regimes. China has long played by its own rules and is now doing so even more. In the ensuing scenario, other nations are unclear on whether their attention should be on the visible competition or the trade-offs and understandings that punctuate them. Faced with such pulls and pressures of globalization, of fragmentation, and of supply insecurity, the rest of the world responds by hedging against all contingencies. Even as it engages the United States and China directly, choices are avoided where feasible, and choices are made when beneficial. Simultaneously, other options between themselves are explored with greater urgency. One sign of that is the uptick in the enthusiasm today for free trade agreements across geographies. Now, while all of this is happening, the global picture is by no means static. Europe and Asia are reassessing their respective strategic predicaments. The very landscape in the Middle East has undergone a transformation. The importance of partnering Africa's growth is more widely recognized. And as distances become less relevant, new opportunities are visualized in Latin America. Now, please also bear in mind that the relative weight of nations in different domains is also undergoing a major change. Whether it is manufacturing, energy, trade, finance, technology, natural resources, connectivity, or mobility, the world is not what it was, say, just a decade ago. A third of global production currently takes place in China. This has put the spotlight on the resilience and reliability of supply chains. Conflicts and climate events have added to the possibility of their disruption. When it comes to energy, the US has gone from being a major importer to a significant exporter of fossil fuels. At the same time, China dominates the world of renewables. Where trade is concerned, supply-side risks are aggravated by demand-side uncertainty. The salience of tariff rates to trade prospects has obviously heightened volatility. And as for finance, the prolific application of sanctions, the seizure of assets, and the advent of blockchain-based technologies are today part of the new realities. And what can we say about technology when the mother of all changes, artificial intelligence moving towards artificial general intelligence, is at our very doorstep? Understandably, it has a direct impact on the competition for natural resources, especially rare earths and critical minerals. Now, even as these developments unfold, we are revisiting history by reinventing connectivity. The hardwiring, designed by the vested interests of imperialism, needed to change as new centers of production and consumption came up. While some of it was organic and some of it was market-driven, others appear to also have a strategic intent. Indeed, the very concept of dual-purpose connectivity challenges the orthodox assumptions and definitions that many of us hold. Another dimension worth recognizing is the importance of the mobility of talent. The flow may be driven by demands of technology, but they are actually made possible by a globalized economy. Over a period, it was not just the talent that is moving, so too is the tasking. And we see that in the rise now of global capability centers. Demographic is also at work, not only technology and economics. In many societies, the maintenance of basic social services requires skills from abroad, as do their economic production. The cumulative result is the need today to prepare for a global workforce. So this is the global landscape, and you may ask, how does India respond to these new realities? Well, obviously, by pursuing policies and taking actions that, one, advance our comprehensive national power, two, reduce our vulnerabilities, and three, promote our influence. Now, the last two clearly constitute the core of our diplomatic activities, but even when it comes to increasing comprehensive national power, our role in diplomacy is active rather than passive. This is done, amongst others, by facilitating the flow of technology and the ease of manufacturing, by shaping external sentiment about investing in India, by opening markets for our producers and work opportunities for our skills, and by ensuring the steady and predictable supply of our requirements from the world. As India rises and our economy grows, we are preparing, obviously, to shoulder more responsibilities in this regard. A major power, that too one with higher aspirations like us, must have a significant industrial base. Unfortunately, this was not an assumption necessarily accepted by policymakers before 2014. Promoting industrial growth and even incentivizing it is today a key economic priority. The emphasis on Make in India in the last decade speaks of a different mindset and greater ambition. For its full potential to be realized, industry has to wholeheartedly partner and look beyond the short term. It must help build the domestic supply chain even as we seek to participate more in the global one. As it strikes roots, Make in India is strengthened by Research in India, Innovate in India, and Design in India. Not all missed opportunities of the lost decades of the last century can be recovered. But there is considerable scope, believe me, to play catch up, especially in selected domains. At the same time, attention is being paid to advanced technologies, to advanced manufacturing, so that India does not perpetually lag behind. We are now in the world of chips and semiconductors, electric vehicles and batteries, drones and space, or that of nanotech and bioscience. Each of them offers opportunity to leapfrog and establish unique capabilities, which is why they feature today so strongly in the government's policy support. Where foreign affairs is concerned, technology and trade are among the metrics of our 3 T's performance evaluation, along with tourism. It is a measure of seriousness that our diplomats are so focused on constantly exploring opportunities and solving problems in these domains. For all of this to happen, it has also been imperative to rectify the shortcomings in our infrastructure. In fact, that was the crucial differentiator in many ways with respect to the more successful Asian economies. But in the last few years, that gap is narrowing. In fact, it is narrowing before our very eyes. Whether it is highways or railways, aviations or ports, energy or power, we are now moving ahead by any standards. And I can tell you by personal experience that the world is indeed taking note. Getting across the India story to investors is a responsibility that we also take very seriously in the diplomatic routine. That involvement can at times also extend to hand-holding in respect of important projects. While the physical environment may be improving, it is also equally important that the enabling one for entrepreneurship does so. Making it easier to do business has been a consistent refrain over this last decade. This ranges from abolishing outdated rules and simplifying compliance procedures to limiting discretionary powers and encouraging deregulation. Side by side, a determined effort is underway to improve the ease of living for the average citizen. That is reflected in more efficient administration and better governance. But the game changer here has really been our digital public infrastructure. It has not only facilitated optimal use of resources and drastically reduced leakage, but also expanded the reach of social welfare measures. The role of digitally enabled governance in the transformation of India cannot be overstated. Whether it is nutrition support for 2/3 of our population, health facilities for more than half, social housing on a mass scale, benefit schemes for farmers, or unprecedented financial inclusion, none of this could have happened without the digital backbone. Significantly, our achievements in this sector are gaining increasing recognition abroad. we have started actually partnering with the Global South on similar initiatives. A crucial consequence of these developments has been the human resources sector, which is at last getting the attention that it has long deserved. It starts at the bottom of the pyramid, where there is far more effective delivery of basic needs, including nutrition, health, housing, and connectivity. As literacy and education rates in our society improve, there are direct implications for the quality of our workforce. Educational institutions have actually doubled in the last decade, but there is obviously much more work to be done. Skills enhancement has also become a focus in itself, both as policy and on the ground. Whether it is skills or educations, there is much to be gained by international collaboration, as in fact the history of this very institution can testify. We have consequently been active in assisting foreign universities and skills institutions to establish their collaborative or other presence in India. The initial results are already visible. As international demand for talent and skills increase across professions, we are obviously today in a much better position to meet it. In fact, addressing the needs of the global workplace is a major diplomatic goal for us. It is reflected in the mobility agreements that we have reached with many countries. Moreover, as more Indians go out in the world, we must arm them with greater confidence. Ensuring the welfare through evacuation in conflict situations, or indeed the manner in which we looked after them during the COVID pandemic, these send a very strong message to our citizens who go out in the world. Now, just as power has a comprehensive definition, so too does the concept of security. Nations, again I stress, especially the large ones, need to be reassured when it comes to energy security, food security, health security, or for that matter, even fertilizer security. That means ensuring the smooth working of supply chains and negotiating long-term arrangements and understandings. The COVID pandemic tested us in that regard when it came to vaccines, just as the Ukraine conflict impacted our energy access. By securing vaccine ingredients and accessing additional energy and fertilizer sources, we actually demonstrated that a responsive foreign policy can indeed deliver for every citizen. In an uncertain world, it is all the more important that we continuously diversify supply sources to ensure, to actually guarantee our national needs. With these considerations in mind, we are today endeavoring to forge new trade arrangements and promote fresh connectivity initiatives. While they certainly represent key facets of our policy priorities, it also speaks for the importance that the world attaches to ties with India. As we ascend the global economic hierarchy, the case for them will only get stronger. These exercises have long-term repercussions and therefore need to be embarked upon with great judiciousness. When it comes to trade, we will naturally be guided by our people-centric vision, just as our connectivity plans will be by strategic as well as economic considerations. Among the methods of promoting India abroad is through extending lines of credit and offering grant assistance. And you could ask me, why is that so important? So I would like to share with you, because this is a core activity of my ministry, that many projects that have resulted from these efforts, in our neighborhood especially, have been crucial for connectivity with our partners. There are other instances where such support has helped to introduce Indian companies and their products to new markets. And not least, as our own capabilities have forged ahead in domains like power grids, water infrastructure, highway building, or railways, we have actually been able to offer cost-effective solutions abroad. Showcasing this new India is very much at the center of the diplomatic mandate. The link between national development and foreign policy will only get deeper as the world globalizes and as we all embrace technology. To a considerable extent, our prospects must take into account access abroad, whether to markets, to resources, to technologies, or even to work opportunities. At the same time, some of our solutions emerge through collaborations with global partners. They hold the potential of leapfrogging our growth in many domains. In a competitive environment, our well-being and progress are best assured by creating a benevolent external environment that involves understandings and calculations as they do give and take, which are what diplomacy is all about. At one level, we have to optimize our positioning vis-à-vis key global players and regions. Agenda-based smaller groups are also being created. At another, stronger linkages need to be nurtured with our immediate and with our extended neighborhood. And as we plan for Viksit Bharat in 2047, the goal of foreign policy is to steadily expand our footprint beyond its current confines. The solidarity that we have built up with the Global South creates a basis for doing so. As India develops, the world will definitely seek to engage us more intensively. While the key to our future lies in growth and modernization, a civilizational state must also draw on its history and culture. Technology and tradition must march together. Indeed, one reinforces the other. It is therefore essential that we think through the challenges ahead for ourselves rather than seek to emulate the models of others. We will be most competitive, friends. We will be most competitive when we find solutions that resonate with who we are. At the end of the day, Atmanirbhar Bharat is a mindset that a confident society will apply to every domain. And as we do so increasingly at home, I can assure you today that it will empower our diplomacy abroad. So with those words, once again, let me thank IIM Calcutta for this enormous honor. Let me thank you all for joining me today. And I can only say that for me, it's a matter of enormous pride to be part of your alumni. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
We express our sincere gratitude to you, sir, for the insightful and inspirational address, and for honoring this ceremony with your kind presence. May I now request our Dean, Academic Programs, IIM Calcutta, Professor Bhaskar Chakravarti, to kindly share with us the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Pradipta. While it is my privilege to offer the formal vote of thanks, after listening to Dr. Jayashankar's reflections this afternoon, formal does not seem like the appropriate word, because only few people manage to speak of, what do you say, it's national capability and external aspirations, or how we relate to the world and equally draw from it with the ease with which others describe their weekend plans. Dr. Jayashankar, you make geopolitics feel almost conversational. Today, we bestowed upon you the Doctor of Philosophy honoris causa, though the honor is truly ours. You exemplify the highest standards of strategic foresight and calm leadership that have come to define India's presence in the international arena. Your career, spanning continents, crisis, negotiations, and now the leadership of India's diplomacy, with all the attention to specifics, as you mentioned, reminds us that public service at its best is both rigorous and humane. On behalf of the chairperson of our Board of Governors, Sri Krishna Kulkarni, Director Professor Alok Kumar Rai, students, alumni, staff, and faculty, thank you, sir, for accepting this honor and for sharing your time with us. It is not every day that our students get to hear someone who negotiates with the world powers and still manages to negotiate time for us. We are deeply grateful. And we hope you will consider IIM Calcutta part of your extended intellectual home. And should world affairs ever give you a day off, which we know is unlikely, we would be delighted to welcome you back again, perhaps for a longer conversation. Our students will be ready with questions as always. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I request everyone present here to kindly rise in honor of the national anthem. Thank you, everyone. We are pleased to invite you all to join us for high tea in the auditorium foyer following the conclusion of this event. Once again, thank you all for your gracious presence.
This way, sir.